Hi, my name is Lisa and this is Ryker, and we are a therapy dog team with Seattle Humane. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the therapy dog program, what a therapy dog is, and a little bit about Ryker. Ryker is going to be 6 years old in September. We've had him since he was a 7.5-week-old pup. He was adopted from a rescue called Little Wave Puppy Rescue in Bothell. He originally came from Yakima on the reservation. He and his litter of pups were found under a porch around 4 to 5 days old, somewhere in there. And a rescue coordinated with Little Waif here in Bothell, or in the Bothell area, and brought this litter back here. We picked out Ryker and his sister and got to bring them home when they were around 7.5 weeks old. We took Ryker to puppy classes, puppy kindergarten, star puppy manners, just every puppy class we could. We like to take him places, and very early on he developed a love of kids and being with people. So as soon as he was a little bit older, we took him through the Canine Good Citizen class and test, which they can't actually take the test until they're about a year old. So Ryker did great in the class, and then when it came time for the test, he was a little too excited when he was greeting another dog, and so he didn't pass. So we tried again, because just like all people take turns or try doing things, and they may not work out the first time, and you have to do it a couple more times before you get it right. Same thing with dogs. So we went back to the drawing board, tried again, and he passed the second time. So we then talked to Seattle Humane about becoming a therapy animal, and went through their little test that they needed to do, kind of an evaluation and interview, so that we could be sure that things like wheelchairs, strollers, loud noises weren't going to scare him. He passed that just fine, and so Seattle Humane began sending us out to all kinds of places. We've been to schools, Boys and Girls Clubs, daycares, Girl Scout and Boy Scout meetings. We have been to memory loss groups at the Senior Center in Bothell, where people can ask questions about Ryker, and then we leave, and then their director will ask them questions to kind of help trigger their memory and see what they can remember. Ryker has done general therapy dog events, things where we help people just feel better and feel calm. The most recent one was a school secretaries get together in Issaquah. And he got to just wander around. The secretaries were going through some pretty intensive training, and they were a little stressed, and so Ryker just got to go around and have people pet him, because that's truly his job, is to be petted. Studies have shown that when you pet a dog or a therapy animal, it could be a cat, could be a miniature pony, it releases endorphins in your brain to help you feel better, help you relax, and it does the same thing for the dog, so it's kind of a win-win situation for everybody. So we do a lot of events like that. Ryker loves doing it, and as long as he enjoys it, we will continue to do it. He wears a vest when he's working, and he gets excited when he puts his vest on, because that helps him know that he's going to be going to meet kids. So he was a little confused today when we didn't go anywhere and he didn't go meet any kids. But when we do go meet kids, he helps kids learn about bite prevention, how to safely approach a dog, what the differences between a therapy dog, a service dog, and an emotional support animal are. He just kind of helps generally kids feel better, feel comfortable around dogs. A lot of times kids have never been around a dog. They've never touched a dog. It may be a cultural thing, or just maybe their family just never had a dog. Maybe they never lived in a place that would allow dogs or pets of any kind. So sometimes seeing a big dog is new to people. When Ryker does his little visits, he stays very calm. Lets people approach him, but we talk through how to safely approach a dog, like not sneaking up from behind, coming up from the side, stopping, moving slowly, staying calm and quiet, just leaving a hand down for the dog to come and sniff, and letting the dog make the choice, and then reaching for cheek, chest, and chin, never reaching directly at the face, over the head, or leaning over the dog. So he kind of goes through those things and helps kids practice if they want to. Many times when a child is afraid of the dog, or even an adult, I've had adults who are afraid to pet him at first as well, they will come up afterwards, and then they're suddenly not so afraid anymore. And they might have been very hesitant to touch him at first, but then once they pet him and they realize, oh, he's calm, he's quiet, he's soft, they actually enjoy being around him, and they get pretty excited, and that I think makes Ryker feel good, and it makes me feel good too that we're helping kids. When we do our visits, Ryker usually does some tricks for folks, so I'll show you those tricks in just a minute. But his training was, the majority of his training was clicker training. Clicker training is just using this little device, a clicker that makes a clicking sound when I push the button, and I won't do it quite yet. It's not a remote control, it's not a shock, it doesn't do anything, it's just simply makes noise. That's all it is. But what it does is it marks a behavior. So if Ryker does something I want him to do, or something I've asked him to do, or I see him do something I think is really cool, might be a neat new trick, then I can click and he knows that he gets food. Because we have done what we call priming the clicker, where you click and give a treat, click and give a treat. And that immediately associates the fact that, oh, when I hear that noise, I did something right, I'm going to get a goodie. So if I say to him, Ryker, touch. He touched my hand, he gets the cookie. Sit. Good boy. So he knows I say the command one time if I do ask him, and I do teach him both hand signals and verbal cues as well. Just in case he ever goes deaf or he's too far away to hear me, I can wave my arms or do a hand signal from a distance, and he's usually pretty good about that. Some of his tricks, Ryker, can you sit? Shake. Good boy. Touch. Spin. Twirl. Happy dance. Yay. Can you bow? Yes. Good boy. Sit. He can also open or close drawers or close doors, and I can. Oh, wait, Ryker. Oh, he heard me say close, so he knows. Sit. Okay, wait. Close. Good boy. He'll push containers across the floor. Kind of a variety of things, but it's important to keep Ryker busy when he's not working, because he does live here with myself, my husband, 2 other dogs, his sister being one of them, and we have a blue heeler, and 5 goats. Sorry, we live on a small farm in Arlington. To keep Ryker busy, we do things like feed out of a slow feed bowl. This makes him use his brain a little bit to think when he's eating. He has to work hard to get the kibble. Another thing we use would be a snuffle mat. This is kind of a fancier one, but basically this is like polar fleece, little strips, and then on this side there are a bunch of little pockets, and I can spread his kibble in here, kind of hide it, put the food in here, put it on the floor for him, and if I just put a couple treats in here, you can see how he has to use his nose to try and find those cookies. So that's another thing that keeps him busy. If he doesn't stay busy, oftentimes dogs will find ways to entertain themselves, which are probably not things that you want them to do, maybe digging or barking or chewing on things they're not supposed to, or trying to get out. So Ryker gets food, toys, and puzzles, the food bowls every day. He gets sniff walks every day. He loves to go outside and sniff for rabbits, sniff around the pasture, see what little critters might have come through our pasture, and do all kinds of things like that. Ryker's breed, he is, through DNA testing, we determined that he is, we thought they were lab cattle dog puppies when we got them, but the DNA proved us wrong, and he is actually a poster child for some of the breeds that people are often afraid of, or breeds that are known to be a little on the aggressive side. Of course, Ryker is not aggressive at all. He is Malamute, German Shepherd, Chow, Catahoula Leopard Hound, and American Staffordshire Terrier. So that just goes to show that it's not necessarily the breed, but partially how they're raised or experiences that they've had, as long as they're positive and being able to have fun stuff. So as long as Ryker enjoys doing his therapy job, he will continue to do it. He is not a service dog, so he can't go anywhere that I want him to go. He can only go where he's invited. That is one of the rules of a therapy dog. They have to be trained, they have to be medically safe, so we submit to Seattle Humane once a year that he's had his shots and that he's healthy. And again, he can only go where he's invited. Service dogs have a specific job or task to perform. They alert to medical conditions. Maybe they help somebody who's blind so that they aren't bumping into things. It could be a police dog. It could be a search and rescue dog. Those are examples of service dogs. Those dogs can go anywhere with their handlers, but they do have to have training and they do have to be well behaved. They can be asked to leave somewhere if they're not behaving. The other kind of dog dog or pet is an emotional support animal. Could be a cat, could be a miniature horse. Those animals can go into some places that Ryker would not be allowed to go as long as they are behaving. It doesn't mean they can go anywhere they want. They can't necessarily go into a grocery store, but they can live in maybe an apartment where regular pets are not normally allowed. But it is because they are providing support, emotional support, because someone has anxiety or fear of something that causes them to get upset really easily. And petting that animal releases those endorphins and helps you feel better. So that's the difference between an emotional support animal, a therapy dog like Ryker, and a service dog. And Ryker will continue to learn new tricks as he goes along, and will continue to do visits as long as he thinks that it's fun. And thank you for listening and learning a little bit about Ryker and a therapy dog.